When you see this symbol, you know you're watching television that's educational and informational. The More You Know on NBC.
Hi everyone, I'm Dreyer. It's time for a wildlife adventure along Europe's untamed coasts, beginning in the south of France. Coming up, tall, elegant, and pretty in pink, these migratory birds are meeting up by the thousands. And learning to mountain climb isn't easy, even with 4 feet, but the view is magnificent. Plus, with eyes like these, who needs binoculars? But first, flying manes and thundering hooves mean an ancient equine challenge is about to begin. France may be more famous for its culture and cuisine than for its wildlife, but its Mediterranean coast has an unmistakably wild feel. Long, hot summers with little rain means only the toughest plants and animals can survive there. But a few unforgettable species have learned to flourish in one of the least habitable environments on Earth, the salt flats. The Mediterranean Sea is replenished by more than 2.5 million gallons of river water every second, mostly from the Rhone River. The river flows south from the Alps through Switzerland and France before reaching the coast. There, it forms the Camargue, a brackish wetland. The size of New York City with its lagoons, marshes, and grasslands, it's a unique home for more than 500 different animals. Here, salt flats can turn into grassy marshes and long, sweeping beaches, full of salt-resistant plants that are perfect grazing for those built for this terrain. This ancient breed is perfectly adapted for life in the Delta. The small, gentle Camargue horses have lived here for millennia, away from the predatory wolves and lynx that roam farther inland. They've evolved the ability to close their nostrils to keep out the salty water as they feed on the tough, nutritious plants that thrive in the salt marshes. But in this summer heat, the dominant stallion and his herd also need to drink. Although most freshwater pools have disappeared, the stallion knows a reliable water source. On the far side of the delta, long legs help the horses power through the tidal marshland. Their wide hooves are uniquely adapted to the boggy ground. Unlike other horses, they can stand for hours in the marsh water without injury. It turns out this horse's favorite watering hole is no secret. Another male has beaten them to it. This lone stallion hasn't just come for a drink. He's looking for a mate. That means competing with the herd's alpha male. But the ruling stallion is battle-hardened and weighs more than 800 pounds. He won't give up without a fight. These sturdy horses have a compact body with powerful chests. Biting and kicking, these clashes can inflict serious injuries. But there can only be one king. Defeated, the outsider retreats. It won't be the last challenge for this stallion's crown. But with his herd secured, he finally enjoys the drink he came for. The Camargue horses have inspired locals and visitors for thousands of years. Napoleon chose them to serve in the French army. And they closely resemble an extinct Stone Age horse found in famous cave paintings. Today, some of them live wild in a protected biosphere. Others are semi-feral and used as working horses. But all of them are admired here as a symbol of resilience, sturdy creatures flourishing in an unforgiving landscape. Coming up, a lost chick needs rescuing in the middle of a flamboyant crowd. And this reptile's emotions are written all over his skin. Plus, for this species, the highest cliff is the safest place to raise a family. Don't go away. Earth Odyssey will be right back.
We'll be right back to The More You Know on NBC. We now return to The More You Know on NBC.
At the Rhone River Delta, seawater flows into the biggest salt marsh in the Mediterranean. It's too salty for most plants to grow, but it's the ideal nesting site for an African species that's made its way to Europe. The greater flamingo. One of the continent's largest breeding populations is found here in the south of France. And more than 20,000 of these unmistakable birds have flocked to a shallow salt lake. Only a few hardy life forms can survive in this extreme alkaline water, including phytoplankton and bacteria. Colonies of brine shrimp feed on these microorganisms, which in turn feed the region's flamingos. A diet of mainly shrimp gives flamingos a light pink color, which can fade to white during breeding season. Their long legs, covered in tough scales, tolerate the harsh conditions. Any excess salt consumed with their food is excreted through glands in their nostrils, perfectly adapted to this challenging environment. It's the very first breeding season for this couple. And their meticulously built mud nest is already occupied. A healthy young male. He's less than a week old and about the size of a tennis ball. Today, he's taking his first steps outside of the nest and into the crowded colony. He's barely gone 10 feet and already lost sight of his parents. Lost and alone, the young flamingo has wandered into the wrong neighborhood. Picked on by the larger chicks, he has no idea how to get back home. Mom and Dad recognize his distinctive call. Reunited just in time. The young chick has learned a valuable lesson. Don't try to grow up too fast. Still ahead on Earth Odyssey, there's no easy escape from a predator who has a 360-degree view. And who will get the high ground in this battle royale? Stay tuned for more Earth Odyssey.
We'll be right back to The More You Know on NBC. We now return to The More You Know on NBC.
Color in the animal world can be used to attract prey, to prevent sunburn, or to signal to predators that this prey is actually poisonous. But animals that can change their color are a special breed. One old world species is famous for its malleable coloring, but that may actually be the least of its amazing qualities. More than 600 miles west of the marshy wetlands in France, the Mediterranean coast gives way to a completely different terrain. Here, the strong winds that dominate this land have formed giant dunes. Few large predators inhabit these barren, shifting sands. But one small and unexpected hunter has made it its home. The common, or Mediterranean, chameleon. Often associated with tropical forests, this particular chameleon is a beach bum. He's learned to survive the parched terrain of these Mediterranean coastal dunes. His five-toed feet can cope with the sandy conditions. But they're really designed for gripping branches while he hunts. Most incredibly, his eyes move independently of one another, doubling his chances of finding a meal. After a target is detected, the chameleon's eyes align, calculating the distance. Launched forward by large accelerator muscles, his tongue hits 13 miles per hour in less than a second. He'll eat up to 10 large crickets in a single day. His unique tongue is twice the length of his body, covered in sticky mucus, which is 400 times thicker than human saliva. Finally, he's had enough. Ready to take in the last of the evening sun and sleep off his meal. It's a myth that chameleons change color for camouflage, to blend in with or match their environment. They change color because of temperature, light, and even emotion, but mostly to communicate with other chameleons. Scientists are even using the chameleon's color adaptations as bio-inspiration, hoping to find new designs and solutions inspired by this remarkable reptile. Still to come, from the smallest member of the herd to the biggest, it's a get-together to remember when Earth Odyssey returns.
We'll be right back to The More You Know on NBC. We now return to The More You Know on NBC.
Surrounding the species-rich waters of the Mediterranean, 28,500 miles of coastline curve around 22 countries across Africa, Europe, and Asia. rugged shorelines, isolated coves, pristine beaches, and towering sea cliffs define the western Mediterranean coast. Living here requires climbing skills, usually adapted for mountains. But it's the perfect seasonal territory for the Iberian ibex. A mature male and his female herd are usually found high up in the surrounding mountain ranges. But it's winter, and the coast's warmer weather and vegetation have brought these wild goats here. Plants here are specially adapted to the saline environment and are high in salt, an essential but often hard to find mineral. The dramatic landscape is also a safe place to raise their young, as few predators can scale the cliffs. These huge horns advertise the alpha male's status. The breeding season is almost over, but there's still time for a challenge. The 170-pound male patrols his territory. Short legs and large, flexible hooves allow this wild goat to climb the sea cliffs with ease. His hooves actually expand and retract like suction cups, helping him get a foothold. From up here, he can survey his territory and look for trespassers. A young bachelor. This means one more fight for the alpha male to hold on to his position. The battle-worn male keeps the high ground, forcing his opponent downhill. He's ruled these cliffs for more than a decade and is determined not to give it all up today. The young contender is outmatched. This alpha male will keep his breeding rights, at least until the same time next year. Until then, he'll live alone or in a bachelor herd of males called bucks or billy goats. It's the females, known as does or nanny goats, who feed and lead the kids throughout the year so that this venerable species can keep its majestic place in the Iberian Mountains.
Today, we've seen how the untamed Mediterranean coasts nurture a remarkable variety of wildlife. 30% of the animals here are found nowhere else in the world. Increasingly, these unique species are finding new shelter in well-protected preserves and habitats. Thanks for watching Earth Odyssey. I'm Dreyer. We'll see you next week.